Welcome to the Battlefield Show. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely Sammy boy. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. We're talking about this right before we recorded, but it's going to be a spicy episode today. And we're going to be talking about the Battlefield Mobile announcement, kind of announcement that we heard today. We're going to go into our thoughts on that, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of the comparison between Battlefield 2042 and its delay and Call of Duty Vanguard, and how those two things kind of match up together, and maybe some side topics along the way. We'll see what we can get up to today. Okay, I think let's just start with the Battlefield Mobile kind of information that we saw today. Eurogamer had a post today on the website highlighting what they believe to be leaks of the Battlefield Mobile alpha test. And I think it's fair to assume that it was a leak because we haven't heard anything since they kind of announced that the mobile game was actually going to be happening. We saw kind of teases here and there. I don't know who went on vacation, but whoever went on vacation needs to get back as soon as possible because they've been gone way too long and they need to approve all of the tweets that they have definitely written up since they went on vacation. Because we haven't really seen anything in terms of the official. I mean, we know about this playtest because Freeman posted on his personal Twitter account. Again, I have to highlight this every time. His personal Twitter account, that it was actually going on, that there is an NDA, and that you can share this, and they would love to see you share it. So it's just one of those weird things that I want to note each time because it is in my personal opinion, it's a toxic trend in the community and in gaming that these people in these positions use their personal Twitter accounts to get across the professional idea of the brand, and I just have a personal pet peeve with that.
Yeah, it's always been something I've never really understood either, just because like I think we've said this on a previous podcast, a lot of people don't know who Freeman is, for example. They follow the Battlefield account, but they might not follow Freeman. So it's just like there's a lot of people that are missing that information. I do understand the whole, I kind of like that, the personal side of it sometimes where, Battlefield will tweet and then Freeman and Kevin follow up to that and give more information. I think that's really good. But when it's actually announcing something, I'm not too sure what the go is there. My thoughts is that there's a chance they don't want to tweet about mobile from the Battlefield account because people will just lose their because they'll be saying you're talking about the mobile game and not the actual game. So that's probably part of it. And then I think the fact that it is a soft launch, generally a lot of games don't actually really announce their soft launch that much. Technically they've already sort of announced it when they first said it was going to be in, I think, the Philippines and
specific
Thailand
locations.
Yeah, so because it's a soft launch, I'm not sure they necessarily needed to announce it, but it is kind of weird that, because I thought it was a leak too. I didn't know that it was actually allowed to be talked about yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all a little bit weird, but for me, this stuff isn't nearly as frustrating as the actual 2042 stuff. I kind of see why it hasn't been talked about much just because it's a soft launch. And
I mean, it's fair.
Mostly just the leak stuff that was a bit weird to me.
Yeah, it's fair, definitely, but I would rather the wrath of the gaming community be dealt towards the faceless Twitter account of @Battlefield versus @PartWelsh, just personally.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, if or have a Battlefield Mobile specific Twitter account, I don't know. It's just something that it rubs me the wrong way when I see this kind of trend of this actual community Twitter account that everyone gets their news from isn't properly posted, and it's all on the developers themselves or the community managers themselves. It takes away from these tweets are my own. That doesn't exist when you're in this kind of space here. So it's
that's true.
An interesting little thing that I have a pet peeve.
A lot of these devs have, my tweets are my own and my own thoughts and all that, but really they're not actually, because they're talking about work half the time.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a weird, It's weird because it's it feels like that shouldn't be how it's done, but like it's just been done that way forever. And I don't know if I know that like gaming studios and stuff are so stubborn in the way that they're kind of set in their ways and they go, this is how it's done, this is how it has to be done. So whether that's just why they don't really change that up, it's kind of confusing, to be honest. But yeah, it's just I guess I'm used to it enough at this point that it doesn't really annoy me. It's more just I do find it very weird. I've always found that weird. I remember like back before I was like super into the community, like I was just looking for information on stuff and I didn't know where to go for it because it was mostly coming from the devs that I didn't really know who they were at the time. So it's a weird dynamic, but yeah, it is what it is, really.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's always been done this way, and not realizing how kind of a toxic trend it is. Because it's only in gaming community that I see stuff like this. But that's not what we're talking about today. Let's talk about kind of what's exactly shown in these, not leaks, but NDA kind of pre-release stuff that people are sharing to give their thoughts on the bugs. How are your feelings on mobile shooter games like this? I mean, have you played stuff like PUBG Online or PUBG Mobile, that kind of stuff?
Not really. Generally, when there's games that are available on console and PC, I generally just prefer to play them there. I'm not too much a mobile gamer. I do play a few here and there, but they're mostly just like those types of games where you can like check them twice a day, and that's really all you need to do. I don't really the thought of like sitting there on my phone for like 2 to 3 hours of like having a proper session, even though it's not that different than sitting here on my PC doing it. For me, it feels, I don't know, it just feels weird to sit there and like, but I remember I used to do it sometimes and my phone would end up like 100 degrees, like so hot. And so, yeah, I've never really been into it. I'm not like against it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, mobile gaming's not real gaming.
It's not real gaming.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't bother me, but it's just not for me like a personal preference. But
yeah,
I no doubt will give Battlefield a go. Like I'll see what it's about, and you know I might be able to, if I'm traveling or whatever, I might be able to jump on and have a quick game. But yeah, I've never really been into it that much.
Exactly. Same here. Ultimately, this isn't a game for American or Australian or like UK or European. Yeah. This is definitely a more of the Asian market type. Because like mobile gaming is so big in China, Japan, all of these other locations around the world, this is a move in that direction versus a move in to get more people involved in Battlefield in the UK and the US.
Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts too. That's probably why they've launched it in the Philippines as well. It's just like that's generally where it's the same with Call of Duty Mobile. It's like that's just where they tend to play a lot more mobile games over there than console games and stuff. So I think it's a really smart move from Battlefield in my opinion. It's like it looks good, man. From the little snippets that I've seen, it actually looks, you know, for a mobile game, it looks really high quality. So I think it's a smart move. Like I said, for me, it's probably not something I'll play that often, but I think there's a lot of people out there who will be very happy to get their hands on it.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be more of those casual things. I don't know. It may be one of those, I'm going to play a game while I poop games.
yeah, exactly. If anything, that'll be me. I'll go, you know what? May as well kill some time and play some Battlefield on the toilet.
Instead of TikTok, it's going to be Battlefield Mobile.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see. It looks pretty good. It looks really good for like a mobile game like that. I personally think things like Fortnite and PUBG Mobile did a better job of kind of carrying over the look to mobile than this game does. It very much looks more of like a really polished PS2 game than it does a competitor to something like Fortnite or PUBG Mobile. I was a PUBG Mobile guy for a little while. I got a couple dubs, chicken dinners on there for a little while.
Man, that was a fun game back in the day.
It was.
I never played the mobile, but man, I played when it first came out, and that was like really is what got me into like Warzone and stuff because I loved PUBG so much.
I know the game's not really, it's not been out long enough to get nostalgia, but I do have some nostalgia for that game.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think because a lot of games kind of took over from it, like there was that, and then I think like Fortnite kind of stole it, and then Apex, and then Warzone. So like, even though it's not that old, yeah, there's been a lot that have kind of stolen the thunder, I guess. So it is, yeah, I do get a little bit of nostalgia playing that good old game.
Good old chicken dinners. I had forgotten that was a phrase until it popped into my brain having this conversation. But kind of mentioning a little bit here, let's there wasn't a whole lot of news on that front. We're still waiting to see the official release date and time zones and all of the fun stuff for Battlefield 2042. We've yet to see anything on that front. We haven't seen any I'd say significant details on the game since the specialist posting, and that was the 3rd of September. 3 weeks ago.
Damn, that's a long time.
Right? So it's been 3 weeks, but we've had a very interesting discussion that's been going on around the community, and we've had an interesting look. You made a video that blew up recently. What is it? Close to 10,000 views now, and
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Battlefield 2042 versus Call of Duty Vanguard. One game got delayed. One game has not been delayed. What are the kind of comparisons about those games? And I think it's a really good discussion to have because we have these two behemoths that we were for sure going to be like, man, these both are going to be groundbreaking experiences. And while the game itself is kind of subpar, kind of lacking in certain ways, in terms of Call of Duty Vanguard, but their communication has been on point. They've been really transparent about what's been going on with that game. And then on the opposite side of things, we've seen very little, so we can't even say if the game is in a good state or not, and very little communication. So maybe that's a good thing in the long run, and that they had to have some kind of pretty substantial problems to delay the game a month. Or substantial bugs, I'll say, because you can't really foundationally build the game up from the ground in a month. But they definitely had some problems to justify a month-long delay. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, judging by a few of the tweets that we got last week, which again were not from the official account, they were mostly just the sort of developers chiming in when it was announced that it was delayed. There was
Guys, it's
lot of there was a lot of reassuring info that we got about the whole the terrain tessellation stuff, and a lot of them saying like, "This, don't worry, this isn't a game that's like in trouble. We just need an extra month," and that was really what I needed to hear. Not that I was really worried when it got delayed, but you know, doubt still creeps into your mind. It's, even though I was positive about it, I was still thinking like, oh, okay, but what if everyone's right and it is a mess? But,
I mean, considering we were for sure 100% believing that the game wasn't going to get delayed, and then all of a sudden it is delayed. There is 100% that doubt, and the game has lost a lot of trust. It built up a bunch, and it quickly burned through it. So there is that definite need for that kind of reassurance.
Yeah. But yeah, again, the fact that it wasn't on the official account, like, they don't even need to go into detail. It would have just been great to say, like, I don't know if they're just afraid of it coming across not professional enough or something, but just say, like, the game isn't broken. It's not it's not a mess. We just need an extra month. We're in a pandemic. Like, just say that. And I know they kind of said that a little bit in the delay, announcement, but yeah, that doesn't hurt to just be transparent. And I'm really glad that the actual devs, you know, some of them stood up and kind of did it themselves, which was good. There was a lot of like really good response to that. I didn't really see anyone being toxic and saying, oh, this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. It was like everyone was actually really supportive. So that was good to see. But yeah, it really kind of took away any doubt that I had. And until, you know, if we, like I said on the last podcast, if we get the beta and the beta is a bit dodgy, and then, you know, that on top of the delay, then I'll start being like, okay, this is a bit worrying.
Yeah.
But just the delay on its own, to me, doesn't really mean much. And with what they said, yeah, I'm feeling good that it is just they've never released a game during a pandemic, and I can't remember who said it. It was one of the devs as well, but
I think it was the senior UX designer.
yeah, NATO, I think it was. She said that it's really easy to make. Well, not easy, but it was easier than she thought to make the game from home. It's not as easy to publish it from home because there's a lot of, it's like a whole different process. So those couple of tweets from different developers, that really did reassure me. And yeah, although there's still, because of the lack of communication, there's still that tiny little bit of doubt. I'm still fairly positive that it's, everything I'd seen before the delay looked really good to me, and I had no worries about the game other than the basic stuff of it's DICE. It's going to be, there will be bugs. We know that for a fact that it will be a little bit shaky. This is as a huge game. Compare this to Call of Duty, and they're releasing a game with 6v6. This is 64 versus 64 on maps that you could fit every map in Vanguard into one Battlefield map. It's obviously going to be a very large scale game, and I think people do just need to accept there will always be bugs. I think we could give them an extra year. They could have a year delay and there will still be bugs when it launches. So to me, that's really been the only worry. And yeah, even then I kind of just accept that will happen as long as they stay on top of it and hopefully be a bit more transparent when it comes out and say, look, we know about this bug, we know about that bug, we're working on it. That's the only type of stuff they need to do. As long as we know they're working on it, then to me that's fine, because that's games just have bugs. That's the end.
My
of the story,
expectations is we will not hear any of that, and then suddenly it will be in a patch note. In terms of what we've seen so far, what they've shown as an example. And I think it's interesting, too, that we're having these discussions around the game, being good or bad or not, and then having no actual official kind of confirmation in one way or the other in terms of what the game actually looks like. And before the game was officially announced, we were having these discussions in group chats and DMs, that this is ultimately, this game is it's exaggerated a bit, but it's do or die for DICE. This is one of those games that it's going to be a foundation for the future of Battlefield, and the fact that they're building a foundation that is as shaky as it has been so far is disappointing for sure. Again, we do have to say this is the first time that they've built a game in a pandemic. While I will say that at least in the comments that I've been getting, people are tired of that response, but it is definitely part of it for sure. Again, they did have a year before the pandemic to start working on this game, and this is a 3-year process of the game, one of which was during the pandemic and one of which they are kind of in the middle, but they were expecting to be in the office, so I bet that they had these expectations that they could finish certain features while everyone was together, and then that ultimately proved to be false. So there's so many different parts of this aspect. I just wish they were more transparent. I think if we had heard some discussion on this front before they delayed the game, it would have been less of a hit and less of something's going on over there. If they led up to it instead of being they specifically said, oh, hey, we're ahead of schedule, guys. Look at this. It's good to go. This is great. And then the next time we hear it, it's guys, this is one of the hardest experiences that we've had in gaming. And we're really sorry, but we have to push this game back 1 month so we can focus on building the best Battlefield experience that we can. It's man, that was quite the stark contrast there.
I think to be in their defense, just to more play devil's advocate. I think
do it.
There's a lot.
I told you got to rein me back, man. I'm being sassy today.
I mean, the part is that I'm completely in agreement with you. So it's mostly just me it's actually me trying to rein myself in more than anything. But yeah, to play devil's advocate, I feel like there is a lot more of it's a quick pivot a lot of times from what I've seen in a lot of the documentaries and stuff that I've watched on game design, where they might have been ahead of schedule and then, they went to the weekend and then literally that Monday they go, oh, damn, this whole next phase that we're moving into is not going to work the way that we thought it would when we're not at the office. So I think that the fact they weren't as transparent about the delay beforehand might have just been because they didn't know. Like, I feel like they pretty much found out that week that, like, okay, this
lovely ignorance.
We've been doing really well, and then they've never done that next phase before. So there's every chance that they like, and it would have been the same with probably any development studio. Really, is that when you move into a next phase that is completely different to what you've been doing. If everything's going well in the first phase and it's in a pandemic, you might be thinking, oh well, the whole thing's going to be easy, but I think everyone can sort of relate that in a pandemic, like, life just does what it fucking wants. You can't really. There's days when you think you're doing really well, and then the next day, like, something just happens, and you're like, oh man, this is everything's changed real quick. So I guess to play devil's advocate, I don't know if they knew about the delay for like a month beforehand. For example, they probably just 1 week they were like, oh, like, this is a bit of a struggle at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it could be the approvals process, because they're expanding into more platforms that they did in the previous launch. They're going to be PS4, Xbox One. Those are the base models. Then there's the One S. There's the PS4 Slim. Then there's the PS4 Pro, and then there's the Xbox Series X and the Series S and the PS5 and the PC. There's a lot of and Cyberpunk struggled with this for sure, which is not a very good kind of analogy, but it is a fair and apt analogy that this is part of the thing that one of the reasons that one of the Cyberpunk delays was specifically for this reason, because they had I think they were up to 9 different platforms that they were optimizing for.
Yeah, it's scary to compare it to Cyberpunk, but it is kind of fair.
Hopefully that isn't the same experience, but maybe.
Yeah, but you are spot on. Like, when you sit back and, because I think we all get kind of caught up in it, because we're obviously also invested in the series, and we all want to play it today. Like, we all just want it so badly. But when you kind of sort of sit back and take yourself out of it a bit, I think we do have to realize that it's being made, 1, in a pandemic, 2, it's the largest scale one that they've ever made. 3, it's on 8 or 9 platforms that they have to essentially optimize for all. Otherwise, we will have a Cyberpunk problem where the next gen version is fine, but the PS4 version is busted, and they obviously don't want that because no one can get a PS5 at the moment. So it's like there's so many moving parts, and I think that I just do believe that they are probably working their absolute hardest. I don't blame anyone. I think like the communication is an issue, but like that's such a in the grand scheme of things, that's such a small part of it that I think we take a bit more than, we kind of think it's a bigger thing than it is because we need that information. But at the end of the day, as long as they could literally not say a word and just launch the game, and as long as the game's good, then to me that's all that matters. The communication is annoying, but as long as they're getting the game right, to me, that's more important. So, I don't really have any blame towards the devs, at least until, like, once we get it, then once we can start judging it, then I'll form my opinion properly. But until then, it's mostly just frustrating. But I've been trying to just remind myself that it's not, like, something that they're doing. They're like, oh, let's just not tell them. Like, I think they've got so much going on that there's just so much stuff to worry about. So it's just a weird situation, man.
It is, and ultimately, I'm gonna say the obvious here, but it's something that I don't think we take into consideration quite a bit. And I've seen some comments about this, like, I'm so tired of hearing all these YouTubers complaining about this. I'm so tired of, if I see one more video that has rumors and leaks in it, I'm going to quit watching YouTube. And it's like, guys, we're all in the same bubble. We are the minority in the Battlefield community when it comes to player base. We are the people that are creating the content on this. We're super frustrated because we have to dig deep to make videos. We have to keep on kind of rephrasing the similar kind of stuff as more rumors and leaks come around. And then the people that watch these videos, it's like, we're all hardcore fans, whether you are a diehard fan of DICE or like very critical and just want to play a good game. We're all in this bubble, and outside of this bubble, no one cares. The broad player base of Battlefield ultimately does not care what we think, and one of my frustrations with the whole marketing thing is that they haven't really been marketing to the other people either. It's like they've only been marketing to the hardcore Battlefield fans, and then they're kind of complaining about the Battlefield fans when they're like, oh, well, I'm really disappointed that people don't think the UI can change. It's like, well, you didn't tell us this, okay? Tell us that, hey, the UI is changing, not I'm really disappointed that people don't think it can change.
Yeah. It's a weird, like you said, it's just a weird dynamic that we really are in this bubble where we're probably, us creating the content and the people watching YouTube, we're probably legitimately like less than 5% of the play base, if not way less. I think there was I remember in Battlefront 2, there was remember that huge survey that they did when Ben Walker kind of came in, and it was like a massive survey that they actually officially did, and it was like plastered everywhere. It was all over Twitter, it was all over Reddit. A lot of YouTubers were making videos saying like, go, check it out and fill out the survey, and it got like, I don't know, like 200,000 people filling it out when the game sold, like, at that point it had sold like 20 million copies. So when you actually think about it, like
10%,
everyone who loved the game and who was watching videos and all that, they absolutely would have filled that out. I reckon like 80% of people who pay close attention would have taken 5 minutes to fill that out. And yeah, the numbers showed that it really was not that many. So it is a good point that we do have to remember that it's not just us, and most people don't really care about the delay. They just want, like, perfect example, actually, the boys that I play, we sort of play a bit of Warzone, and my friends aren't really like, well, these friends anyway, they're not really gamers. They just, we jump on and play, but they don't pay any attention to patch notes or anything like that. And one of them said, oh, when's, like, Battlefield should be out soon, shouldn't it? And I was like, oh, it got delayed. And he was like, oh, damn, that sucks, but it looks pretty good, so I guess I'll just wait. And that was literally the end of the conversation. Like, he didn't complain. He was just like, oh, well. And so, yeah, it's a perfect example that most people really just don't care in a good way. Like, they see the game, they go, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then they'll play it when it comes out. But other than that, they don't really care. So I think it kind of goes both ways. I think we do get a bit more worked up than we should, but at the same time, we are so invested in it that you can't help it. Like, you can't not get, annoyed about it, because, we are so invested in it that...
Exactly. And, like, our feedback really is worth a lot more because we have this investment in the community versus someone who didn't even know the game was coming out and just randomly will walk into a game store and say, hey, I want to play... Is the new Battlefield out? And they say, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. Like, that's the conversation. It's not, oh man, did they change the time to kill from, I don't know, like 10 seconds to 3? It's no, they don't talk about that. They're like, oh, is it out? Yeah, okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's a crazy difference, isn't it? I never really, until pretty recently, I never actually realized that. I kind of just thought like, oh, everyone pays attention. Everyone who plays Call of Duty must watch Call of Duty videos, but yeah, that's just not the truth at all.
Though I will say probably a higher percentage of people that play Call of Duty watch Call of Duty videos than maybe Battlefield. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that, just because it is such a, I don't know, it's a bit more of like a cultural game. Like, kind of everyone knows. Like, my parents
love it or hate it, everybody knows Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it's exactly. Like GTA.
Like, yeah, exactly. So I would agree with that. I think it's much more, notable in the general community that, a lot more people probably do watch it compared to games like Battlefield and many other games out there.
So I'm definitely interested to see how this all plays out. All it takes is just a little bit. I mean, we still haven't heard about Hazard Zone, which we still need to learn about. We still haven't heard about the other 5 specialists that we were supposed to be seeing more gameplay from. Do you remember the whole thing? Here's gameplay, more to come soon. It's like,
and I remember that we delayed the podcast that week because we thought, oh, they might release some this week because they said more to come, and then that's been 3 weeks since then. So.
Yes.
Pain.
Yep. They're just playing with this, man. They're playing with us.
Then again, to play devil's advocate, I think also that is partly our fault that like he didn't say, like Freeman didn't say more to come next week. I think at times we do. I know I do it. I just assume like, oh well, they post that on a Thursday, so that must mean that there'll be some next week. When technically it didn't say that at all. So it's
but still, like
I think, I
soon.
They definitely can. I'm all 100% there with you with the communication. Like they can 100% improve on it. But I think it is like a two-way street where they can improve a hell of a lot. But I think also the general people who are, paying attention to the game, we probably can try and just relax a bit because we are very, and it's, to be fair, it's mostly because of the lack of communication, but we are highly strung at the moment and we're all kind of on edge. And I think that's something that I'm trying to do is just, I'm not sitting here waiting for info. I'm just going about life, and when it comes, it'll come. And until then, I'm just trying to, I kind of was in that mode where I was getting really annoyed with the lack of info and all that type of stuff. And I've just tried to change it up a bit and go, okay, well, me wanting it isn't going to make it happen any sooner. So I'll just wait for it. And, eventually it's going to come. They're not going to just never release the game. So
yeah. In the meantime, we'll probably see something. I mean, there's only 6 more days in September as we're recording this. And I expect we will wait up until that 30-day period to hear something. We'll see.
Yeah, I think as much as I just said, like, I expect things when I shouldn't, I do expect next week we will 100% hear about the beta.
I mean, they can't not. Otherwise, the meme that they did to insult part of the community is just even more ridiculous.
Yeah, they really, for their own sake, they literally have to. But I do think that there's been, like, Tom Henderson's been really adamant on that leak of October 6th or was it October 8th? I can't remember, but it might have been both actually. Early access
so 6th for the early access and then 8th for the open beta, which is it's kind of disappointing how limited of a time frame that is. I mean, if you pre-order, you get 4 days, but if you don't pre-order and waiting to decide by that beta, it's kind of disappointing to only have 2 days to play with it. I said this in a more recent videos. The place that I lived before had 6 megabits per second download, and it took pretty much all day to download something. So like, we would download a beta, and I would not download a beta unless it was more than 3 days, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get enough time to play it.
Yeah, I think, as far as I know, they will allow pre-download. So that's one positive, is that they'll...
Oh, that's good.
That's why I'm thinking that next week they'll say, like, it's going to be on this date or whatever, and they'll pre-download it
2 days before.
Yeah, so that would at least be handy, because I agree. If it's the same for me, my internet, like Australian internet, is notoriously terrible. So if I had to download it, like, luckily because I've pre-ordered, I get the extra 2 days. But if I had to download it and only have, it would take at least half the day to download, and then I've essentially got 36 hours to play, and I obviously have to sleep at some point. So like, you're kind of running
my early access.
So yeah. I do hope. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I've just heard a lot of people saying, like, I think even Tom Henderson was saying
it was in the Origin thing,
leaks,
right?
Yeah, I've definitely seen it somewhere. I don't know how. I'm not sure if it is official or if I just saw it and I'm pretending that it's official. I'm not sure, but I've heard, like, so many people saying that it'll be pre-download. So hopefully that is true, because that would be the 2 days for people who haven't pre-ordered is really. It is a little bit disappointing. 4 days for me is fine. Like, I don't think a beta needs to be that much longer. But yeah, if you haven't pre-ordered, then and a lot of people won't have, because they've seen what's going on, and that's DICE's own fault.
Yep.
So yeah, and who knows? They might extend it, because
I hope so, or do a multi-weekend thing like Call of Duty usually does.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe do, like. Which, again, I don't think they would, because I feel like they're just so set in their ways. But it would be nice to get, say, like, the first weekend being on one map or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do, and then the next weekend do another map in a different mode or something like that. Or even like they can put like a portal into the second one, but they don't need to make it that we can, make our own modes. They just have the set servers.
Yeah, you can play Gunmaster.
Stuff like that. So that would be cool to see, but I feel like it won't, just because
it won't
obviously
happen.
they're on they've already delayed it, and I feel like that they don't need to waste their time trying to like please us any more than they just need. Now that they've delayed it, they have to get the game to the best that they can.
Well, it would be a good marketing move for them, though, to say, hey, we're going to have a multi-weekend beta. It's going to be this first weekend and then the second weekend. And we're going to make changes based on your feedback on that second beta, and we'll slowly improve stuff as the game goes on closer to launch. I mean, that would be groundbreaking for them to say, hey, we're going to incorporate some of the problems that you guys have and be like, oh, hey, we know that this one weapon was super overpowered in this beta. We are implementing a change. Check in next week to see how this is incorporated. Like, that would be like, that would earn huge brownie points for DICE. But it's not going to happen.
Say that's a great way for them to try and earn that trust back and say, like, look, we know we've been quiet and we had to delay it and blah blah blah, but we're going to give you a go this weekend. Give us your feedback, and we'll try and implement some of that stuff for next time, and just show that they are listening and putting in that work. And I think all of us know they are putting in that work, but to just like kind of come out and prove it is for those people who are a bit on the edge. Like for me, I'm completely sold on the game. I don't need them to really like prove anything to me, but there's a lot of people who might need that, and so I think that would be again, I'm literally so certain that it won't happen just because it's DICE, but that would be a great way to do it. I think that would be I think that's something that Call of Duty does really well, is just constantly, like, their marketing is just completely different. It's not even like they do, for example, like the Battlefield trailers are so much better in my opinion, but Call of Duty just releases stuff time and time again. They just have a trailer, then they have the beta, then they actually had the alpha, then the beta, and then another beta. So they've done 3 playtests already. They had like the whole reveal where they do like an hour show. They did the trailers and stuff. So even though the quality of their stuff might not be as good, they do have a different sort of mindset where they just say, let's just essentially spam our game and get it out there, and like people will just see it, and because it's such a big thing.
Yeah. They have a standard tech company marketing plan versus Battlefield, which is a game company marketing plan. Yeah, exactly. On that note, what do you think of the comparisons of Battlefield getting a delay, Vanguard not getting delay, and the comparisons between those two? Do you think that ultimately Vanguard would benefit from a delay like that, or do you think that it's just one of those things that Call of Duty is going to release this time every year and there's not going to be a delay?
Yeah, I essentially touched on that in the video that I made, and I do think it needs a delay. I think it had a lot of issues, and I know it's a beta. I know that it'll be better by the time it launches, but there was a lot of issues that seemed like the type of stuff that won't be fixed by launch, and then they'll have to spend extra months fixing that after launch. So I do think that I wouldn't say it needs a delay, but I think it would really benefit from a delay. But it's Call of Duty. They just November every year. They don't care if it's broken. They'll release it, and if it's a bust, they'll just wait till the next one. So that's kind of the whole Vanguard beta actually made me really happy about the Battlefield delay, to be honest, because I was like, okay, this game, I actually want Vanguard to be delayed for the sake of the game. Like, I don't want it to suck. I'm a Call of Duty fan. I think a lot of people seem to not think that because I am very critical of it, but I love Call of Duty. It's like equal. I do prefer Battlefield, but they're so close that I obviously love both of them, and I do think it would really benefit from a delay, but that's just how Call of Duty works. They don't really work that way. And if they did delay it till, say, December, like, then the game is only technically out for 11 months, and then the new one comes out. So
Yeah.
it won't happen. But
Mm-hmm.
that was one thing that really made me go like, okay, if Battlefield, I kind of looked at it like, if Battlefield launched like this, I'd probably be a little bit annoyed that they didn't delay it because we're in a pandemic. I think everyone is essentially like agreeing that delays at this point are fine because of what's going on. And so I even said in the video, like, even if Battlefield launches still not, still a little bit shaky, the fact that they took an extra month to me just shows that they do care about the quality and they're not just shitting out a game to make money. They want it to be better, even if they don't get to really execute that, even if they take that month and they can't fix it by then. That's still showing me, compared to Call of Duty, that they're not worried. They're not being pushed by EA to like, nah, you have to get it out. You have to get it out. So
yeah,
I think it's kind of woken me up to it being a positive, but we have to wait and see what the game's like, I guess.
Yeah, I think this was ultimately one of the most impactful comparisons between Battlefield and Call of Duty that we've had so far. Them releasing, 2 weeks apart from each other, which I'm not 100% sure, but it is definitely pretty dang close in terms of the history of those games releasing. Usually they try to be a month apart from each other, but it's pretty close to that time, and I think ultimately, whether it's good or bad, there's going to be a huge comparison between these two games being compared to each other, and I think it's good for both fans of Call of Duty and both fans of Battlefield because they have that competition between each other, and I'd say there's a pretty big crossover between fans who play Battlefield and fans who play Call of Duty because we're all first-person shooter fans, and depending on what year and what kind of focus it is. I mean, if you don't enjoy historical shooters, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 weren't doing it for you. Where else were you going to go but Call of Duty? So if you want that like really robust AAA experience. So I think ultimately it's going to be fascinating to see how these two games match up to each other, and I think it's interesting how quickly Portal died down in terms of conversation around that game. I almost forget that it's going to be in the game until I hear it again. It's like, oh yeah, Portal's coming.
Yeah, that is true. I think that's mostly just because the marketing in general has been so quiet that they only need to, like, you know how they did that little video where they showed the fan-made modes from like the people that we know, like there was Courage JD and there was Gabbytron, and they made their own modes. Like, just upload one of them a week. It needs to be like a 20-second little snippet. Just have Freeman talking over it, or you don't even need to have him talking over it. Just show that little snippet where there was all those EOD bots chasing a tank. Just literally just show something like that. Show a bunch of the robot dogs chasing a car, and then explain the mode and just upload that. And that would be more than enough that people would be like, holy, this, I can't wait to get my hands on that. Whereas, it really has died down because, they've really said nothing about it. And I've actually said the same thing in my Discord. I've been saying like, oh, I can't wait to do streams of Portal. And a lot of people are like, oh, damn, I forgot Portal even was like happening, because they've really not said anything about it.
Well, even the technical playtest was Orbital Conquest, and then it seems that the beta is going to be the same as well, which I saw a comment on one of my videos, and they were like, oh, man, not Orbital again. Come on, that's like my least excited map that's going to be in the game. Right there with you. We've got so many hours of content because of all the leaks. But yeah, it's a fair criticism, I would say, that it's interesting that they would choose the safest map to promote it, but hey, it's the safest map. I just think it's interesting because the map itself doesn't really highlight the most valuable parts of the other maps have, which is the weather, which is some of the destruction, the layouts of the map, and it looks very large and very spread out, and looks like it's going to take a while to get to the action. But we'll see when we hop into the game and check it out.
Yeah, I wonder if like that's another thing that is just different between Battlefield and Call of Duty, where like I do feel like the team at DICE, they want to keep like I feel like they're more fans of their game than the Call of Duty devs are. I don't know if that's just my thoughts, but it feels like they are really excited and they want to keep like some stuff for the actual game. So when they release, like, it would almost be surprising to me if they showed the best maps in the beta. Like, I feel like they almost should show the worst maps, because then people, if people like that on the worst map in the game, then like
they're gonna love the rest
when
of
the
it.
game launches. It's kind of like saving the good stuff for when the actual launch happens. And I do get that a lot of people might want to see the best map because they're not sure on the game and stuff like that, and that's completely fair. But I just feel like I just do get that feeling that DICE really do, or you know, at least the developers really do feel like they're fans of their own game, and they're like real giddy to show us, you know, when the actual game launches. Whereas I feel like with Call of Duty, and again, I'm probably wrong, I'm sure that they obviously really care about their game as well, but it seems like it's much more of a, I guess like a professional thing where they don't tweet out a bit like how excited they are and stuff. And when it comes to betas and stuff, it feels like they just show their trump card straight away and they just say, this is the best experience you'll get with the game. Obviously, it'll be better when the game launches, but here's the best maps, here's the best weapons, go have fun. And so I do feel like that's just another one of those weird differences between the two, where there are, DICE is kind of saving their best for later on, and
and
Call
again,
of Duty just go, you know what, I don't care, let's give them the best we can right now.
Again, also, the people that are complaining about seeing all of the orbital stuff are also people that would be all about everything Battlefield, and the majority of people that are going to be playing the beta have no idea that there was even a technical playtest. They didn't see anything of the leaks, so it's going to be their first experience, and that's where people are going to be like, oh, hey, they're either going to say, man, this game's garbage, I'm not going to buy this, or they're going to say, man, this is really fun, I'm definitely going to get this when it comes out. Yeah,
exactly. And like you said, even like I've seen a little bit of the leaks, but even I tried not to watch too much of it just because I didn't want to. I didn't want to see too much of something that's not really official. I guess it is, but it's leaked. But it'll also be exciting for me to be able to compare the leaked gameplay to the beta gameplay on the same map, if it is the same map, because then you can kind of get a feeling of for like how far it's come. And a lot of people, I see so many comments of like, oh, the technical test was absolute garbage, this game's going to suck. And it's going to be interesting to see how different it actually is, so that you can kind of say to those people like, okay, well, you thought it was garbage, but it was like 3 months ago and it's a technical test, not a beta. So I think for me personally, I actually want it to be on Orbital just for that reason. But like you said, I think the general, like even a lot of people who pay attention, I know a lot of people who have who are really excited and they haven't even watched the leaked gameplay. So I think a lot of people just won't even know that it was on Orbital in that first one.
Exactly. So I'm definitely interested to see how it goes and what people are really going to be expecting and what the game is going to offer. Because hopefully in the beta, it'll run a little bit better than 30 frames per second, and it'll be customizable sliders, and you can adjust your field of view and the default field of views, whatever it was. I think mostly people are going to get in that and they're going to say, hey, yep, okay, this is good. Orbital it's definitely kind of like, it's like going with the Assault. It's the standard. It's the one that is not going to betray you, but it's not like, it doesn't really specialize in any specific way.
Yeah, that's what the vibe that I've gotten from it too. It's not a bad map, but it's not like the peak Battlefield 2042 kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it is. Either way, but I think with that, we'll call this video an end. Thank you all so much for listening. We greatly appreciate the support that we've been getting on the podcast. We have surpassed over 10,000 total listens over all the platforms, which is incredible. We've only been doing the podcast for 3 months, and we've already surpassed 10,000 people listening to the podcast, which is an incredible number that I did not expect to hit so soon. But we're greatly greatly enjoying the feedback that we've been getting as well. We appreciate your support. If you would like to support us even further, definitely do consider leaving us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcast. It helps us out a bunch. It helps other people find the show. Give us your feedback. If you'd like to contact us, definitely do contact@uplinkpodcast.com and let us know what's going on. What you're most excited for. If you're listening to this on YouTube, to let us know in the comments below. And we'd like to thank Ethan Clark for our lovely thumbnail. And we'll see you all on the battlefield.